Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Betty and this is Betty's Space. So this one's going to be a little bit different. I feel like I've done a lot of like sit down talking videos. So this time I'm going to take some clips from across the week. Some of them might be shorter and just like after I've read a chapter of a book, just thoughts that come to me, but a bit more like vlog style of video. So first thing that happened across this week was I got back into paperback reading, which obviously Kindle reading is still very much reading, but often when I read something on my Kindle, like I'll pick it up and put it down. I might skip a chapter if it's boring me, whereas this week I got back for the first time in January to reading like proper paperbacks, and that is because the Wycherleys Volume 2 came out. So I've had Wycherleys Volume 1 on my shelf for ages. This came out maybe a year and a bit ago, and obviously I got the special edition, which is stunning, and I love this book so much. Very much YA, very much like romance history, but not deep fantasy. It's like magic and witches and like not, there's too many characters, I'm overwhelmed. This one had like a small group of characters and very much your protagonist who you loved. I think this one, is this one dual pop as well? No, just her POV. But I felt like I got both the characters' feelings, even if I didn't have his point of view, which I loved so much. And I just thought their connection, their chemistry, but also the storyline kept me really entertained. It was a great book, I loved it. And so when I finished it, they left it on a cliffhanger, and I was like, okay, there must be a second book. Googled it. Second book was coming out January of 2026. Now at the time, that was like 14 months away. But I loved it so much, I took the proactive step of putting it in my calendar. So I put the date of the new release in my calendar, and then earlier on this week I saw that I got the notification. I was like, oh, straight on Waterstones, pre-ordered that thing, came on the day, and I managed to get it in the same, like the version of the special edition. So now they sit, again it's been added to my sprayed edges shelf, which is growing, but they look so beautiful next to each other. I love it so much. And I've been reading this like around school and out and about, and I've had so many compliments, well, like, yeah, compliments on the book looking so pretty. This did not disappoint. This is the Wycherleys Love and Other Curses. I keep calling it Volume 2, it's just a second book, but Love and Other Curses. Oh my god, when I tell you, I was excited for this book, but I was also nervous because it'd been so long since I've read the first one, and I was like, oh, is it going to live up to the expectations? Is it, you know, because sometimes the second book lets you down, they change the story, or often if there's a couple in the first book, which they did become, slight spoiler, but stop watching now if you don't want any more spoilers, because I'm going to spoil both these books. So this is your chance, go away, read them, come back. But they do become a couple sort of by the end of this book. And then this book, usually in the second book, if they become a couple in the first book, there's like miscommunication, or there's a problem, or they split up, or they hate each other, or something like that. And I hate that. Can't stand that. Not in this one. They stayed true to each other, they loved each other. There was still, not tension, but there was still points of interest in their relationship. Like it developed. It wasn't smooth sailing, but they stayed true to each other and they still had that connection, which I feel like sometimes especially if I'm reading a later book that's been written later, you know, they weren't written in quick succession, or I suppose they were written in quick succession, but if I didn't read them in quick succession, I can feel like I'm reading a different couple. Sometimes I feel like their personality changes and their traits are different, but this book did not disappoint. I didn't even recap the first book. I went in blind. I could hardly remember their names. The first couple chapters caught me up, and then, oh my god, just the character development, the magic development, like it got deeper. I felt like I was very much in the same world, but I learned more about her curse and about their relationship and about the school and about the magic system. I felt like I just got to go deeper into that world without getting confused. Because as I said before, I'm not a big fantasy reader. I like some calm, cozy, easy to read fantasy. I don't want anything too deep. This was perfect. This was such a good book. And the ending, I won't spoil the ending because it was great, but the ending, did not see it coming. I read the ending at like 2 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday night. Like I stayed up for this book, couldn't put it down, and I did not see the ending coming at all. And it was so good. And then immediately Googled when is the next one coming out, thinking it was going to be a year. September, guys. Put it in the diary. September. I can't remember the date. Maybe I'll put it up here somewhere. But September is in my calendar. I don't think you can pre-order it yet. I don't think so. I think I checked and it's not able to be pre-ordered yet. But it's in my calendar and I cannot wait for the third one, and I really hope it doesn't disappoint. And I can't wait to see what colour they do, because I can't wait to add to this collection. So that was the first thing I read, and as I said, it got me back into proper reading. Like, I'd started January with this big goal of like continuing my book, which has been going well, by the way. Update on that. We are now on chapter 10, which looks like I've only written another chapter, but when I said I'd written 9 chapters, I'd written 8 chapters and put like the first sentence of chapter 9. So I think we've written like 3,000-4,000 words, which isn't bad, because obviously I'm still at school full time and all of that. So book goal's been going well, but it has meant that I've read less because I've been dedicating the time I would read to writing. So now that I've read that, I feel like I had my flame reignited. I want to get back into paper books. I have not a massive TBR. Some people are like, they've got 100 books. I haven't got 100 books, but I'd say I've probably got like maybe 15 books on my TBR, on like between my shelves and like my like written list on my notes app of like books I want to read. So I've decided that we're back in paperbacks now, and my next read is going to be Foxglove. Because I read, if you remember my first video, or maybe my second one, I mentioned that I'd read Belladonna and that I'd loved it, and that the book was amazing and it'd been recommended to me ages ago and I hadn't read it, and then once I read it, it was amazing, and I'd ordered Foxglove. I don't think it had arrived at the time, or maybe it had. But either way, it's here now, and I didn't read it straight away, which I was like, I'm gonna get it, I read it as soon as I get it. Didn't get it, read it as soon as I got it. But it's here now, and now that I'm back into paperback format, which other readers out there, I feel like you'll get it. Like when you go onto your Kindle and you read your Kindle book for ages, you sort of get like in that world, and you keep, I at least keep reading books on my Kindle. And then if I read like hardback, then I keep tending to read, maybe not always hardbacks, but the digital world of books and the physical world of books, I tend to get trapped in one, and I tend to just stay in that. Like if I'm on my Kindle, I'll start reading just Kindle books. So now that I've sort of got myself back into the physical book world, I wanted another physical book, and so Foxglove is going to be next. Now I don't know a lot about the book. Obviously I read the first one. I did immediately call up my friend when I read Belladonna and finished it, and was like, is it the same people, is it the same people? And she was slightly cryptic, but from what I can work out, I think it has the same people but with new people added, because it says Signet on the back, and it but it also talks about her cousin Blythe and Fate. So I think this one's sort of centred around, I think I'm saying that right, Blythe? B-L-Y-T-H-E, Blythe? Blythe? No, it's got to be Blythe. Blythe and Fate, which I'm excited for, because in the previous one, Death mentioned Fate and was like, you don't want to mess with Fate, or Fate is very, like, it doesn't change. And they mentioned Fate a lot. So I'm excited, because if Fate is anything like Death, I'm here for it. I'm sat and ready. And I think Death and Signet are in this one. Sort of like, I hope they're to be in it. I hope they're in it in a similar way to, like, you know, in Bridgerton, where like you have the main couple, and then the next series you have like the new main couple, but the old one is still there. I'm hoping they're going to be like that. Like they're going to be fully together, no issues with their relationship, but they're just there sort of watching, and we just get to see snippets of their like life now that they're together, because that's what I want. On a separate note, who's ready for Bridgerton? Because I am so excited. Although I say I'm so excited, I was so excited for Penelope and Colin, and I don't know how I feel. I can't even remember the names. I haven't read the books. That's another thing. Has anyone read the Bridgerton books? Because I know as a reader I should have read the books first, but I didn't know about the books, and when the first series came out I was like too young to read the books, and I didn't even really watch the first series until I was older. So I haven't read the books. Should I? I don't know if they've been spoiled now. Are they good? If you read them, let me know. Are they good? Should I read them? So I don't know. This is the good thing though. I never know anything about the couple before going in. So Penelope and Colin I loved. I think my favourite will always be Daphne, season 1. I think it goes, actually my favourites are in order. I think Daphne's my favourite, then season 2, then season 3, and then maybe season 4 will be my, I don't know. I'm excited. And also just Eloise, like I want her like little love story in season 3. I wanted that to, having not read the books, I didn't know how it ended, and I wanted that to go all the way, and it didn't, and I was very sad. So I'm very excited for Bridgerton. But that'll be the end of this clip, I think, and then we'll see when I next pick up my camera. the next day, which I think tells you all you need to know about Foxglove. I have devoured this. I started this yesterday on the train, which was Monday, and now we are Tuesday morning, bright and early. And I mean, what can I say? Read it in one day with school, so that's how you know. This book, I don't know if I liked it more than Belladonna, but it kept me on the edge because Belladonna had done such a good job of making me fall in love with Signa and Death. Oh, and there's going to be spoilers, so this review will involve spoilers. So if you don't want spoilers, I'll put somewhere here, skip to ahead when there's no spoilers. But anyway, back to it. So Belladonna had done such a good job of making me fall in love with Death and Signa that when I got to this book and there was a chance that she wouldn't end up with Death, I was on the edge of my seat the whole time, begging, praying, crossing my fingers that she wasn't going to end up with Fate, who was introduced in this book. And they did a really good job at first. I hated Fate just because of how much I love Death. But at the end of the book, I was like, once I knew she wasn't, which was only like literally here that I discovered that she wasn't going to end up with Fate. Right up until the end, I thought, oh my gosh, she's going to do it. And then I thought eventually she'd end up with Death, but I thought maybe Wisteria is her with Fate and then making her way back to Death, or I didn't know. But when I discovered she wasn't going to end up with Fate, and then what I've been saying the whole time, so I say saying to myself, I was like, I really hope that Blythe, who is her Signa's cousin, who she's gone to live with and sort of become really close with in the Belladonna, is going to end up with Fate. But Blythe had no powers at the start of this. Blythe was just a regular girl who had cheated Death 3 times, but with the help of Signa, because she was really sick and she was supposed to die. And then I was like, oh my god, what if she ends up with Fate? And then I was like, oh my god, what if she is Life? Because the whole premise of this book is Fate, lifetimes and lifetimes ago, Fate is a being, and as is Death. And Fate, lifetimes and lifetimes ago, found a girl who could see him and touch him, and she had the power of life. So they dated, they loved each other, but she wasn't like Fate and Death. She couldn't live forever. And in the end, Death kept putting off, and Death and Fate are brothers. Sorry, I'm really jumping around, but Death put off taking her because he was like, I don't want you to die, and I know how much Fate will hate me if I kill you, but like take you to the afterlife. And he put it off for so long that he ended up having to give her the worst death imaginable, which was the plague, which I thought was so clever. And the fact that she was the first patient with the plague, and then he killed 25 million people with this because he put it off for so long, and he had like learnt from that. But I thought that little like touch of history was so clever from the author. But yeah, and then basically in this lifetime, because Signa's found Death and she's like the only one that's ever been able to talk and touch him without dying, because she sort of can die and come back between the veil, Fate thinks that Signa is actually Life reincarnate, and he's like trying to get her to remember. And then she enters into a bargain where she has to entertain this notion, but she still loves Death. And I was like, oh, what if Blythe? But then like I hoped Blythe might be Life and like reincarnate or have her powers, but then Signa was using Life's powers, and I was like, oh, she is Life, like it's going to be really difficult now. But then at the end, again, big spoiler, we discover that actually every time Signa's used Life powers, she's been with Blythe, and so it's been Blythe that's sort of been like using them, and so Blythe is Life, and currently, and so she ends up spilling her blood on the tapestry of Life. That means that she is bound in a like everlasting marriage to Fate, and Fate's obviously fuming because they've like cheated Fate, and Blythe is like, a hatchet is for you because you've done everything for me. And so Signa ends up with Death, and then Blythe and Fate are like together, but they're like great enemies. And so I've already ordered Wisteria, obviously, and my prediction is that Wisteria is going to be very much an enemies to lovers, because obviously, so Blythe doesn't know she's Life at the end of it, and nor does Fate. It's Signa and Death who would figure this out after they've left the room right at the end, so they don't know yet. And so I think Wisteria is going to be like them figuring it out, and then an enemies to lovers trope. And like at the end, Signa said, oh, she's going to try and kill him, and Death was like, you tried to kill me once and look how it turned out. And I was like, so it was so good. It was so good. Again, it was so good as a book. It almost wasn't good because I was so terrified the whole time, but that's what made it so good. Like I had to keep reading to make sure that they stayed together. But wonderfully written, great characters. You get more of like Death and Signa's relationship, because I worried, like I said before I read it, I said I was worried that like Death and Signa were going to be like the other couple, you know, that you don't see as much, like in Bridgerton. But this was really a mashup of like finding out more about Death and Signa's relationship and them getting more intimate and them becoming more trusting of each other, and, you know, Signa still developing as a person, and also introducing the next couple as Blythe and Fate. So I think Wisteria will then be like their Belladonna, where they are like the main couple. But yeah, it was good because we got to find out more on Death and Signa, and their relationship evolved because it was very new at the end of Belladonna. They'd only just really stopped hating, well, her hating him, he never hated her, but they'd only just sort of come to that realisation, and more of her using her powers and how it works as a Reaper, and more about her backstory, like her life before, like when her parents, there's a big thing with her parents and discovering, because they're dead, but going back to the Foxglove Manor, which is where Foxglove comes from. Yeah, the whole thing was really, really good, and I've already ordered Wisteria, and hopefully that's coming soon. I'm very excited for that, and then I will have read all of them. I don't think there's another one, or maybe there's another one coming out, I don't know, I'll have to check. But very, very good, and having devoured that, I'm on a roll now. So I think the next one I'm gonna do, I've ordered Wisteria, and I've also ordered Quicksilver because I've heard really good things about that, but I couldn't find the copy I wanted, so I had to order it off of a secondhand book site. But that's coming, and I'll be reading that as soon as I get it, because I think I really enjoy that one. But I think I will read Powerless now, which I'm slightly scared to read Powerless because everyone knows Powerless, and even if they haven't read, they're like, oh my god, that's the Powerless book, or that's the sword book. And I'm always scared of like booktop hype books, because one, when you read them out about, people are usually like not desperate to talk to you, like obviously I want to talk about books, but I don't know, it gets a lot of attention, and also I find that sometimes they don't live up to the hype, and if everyone else has read it, I want to feel like the characters are mine, like in a selfish way, and if everyone's read it, sometimes I feel like slightly disconnected. It feels like, oh, this is a famous book, rather than like these are characters and stories, lives, you know. But I think we'll start that today because I have heard some really good quotes from it. It was on my Instagram this morning of some really good quotes, and I was like, but this is also a love triangle, I think, because someone said that, I can't remember, there was like Kay and Kai, which as a dyslexic that's going to be awful, but I think this is Kai. So Kai's powerless, and then I think Kay's reckless, and I think it's back to Kai for the pink one with the sword, the third one, because there was like one that was like, she chose me, did she? You tell me, like three-way love triangle, I don't know. So I think I'm going to start that today, and then hopefully that will go out. If not, I could have started, I've got two up here that I haven't read. I've got Alice with a Y, spelt like, why did you do that? And then The 7-Year Slip, which are both really pretty copies. But I find hardbacks are harder to read when you're like travelling and stuff. I find them, if I can just slip a paperback in my bag, I find it a lot easier. And I finished my Kindle book. I was reading Ice Ice Baby, and that was okay. I just sort of skimmed through it at the same time. I skipped a couple of chapters and that. I didn't read it properly. But yeah, that was my review of Foxglove, and now I'll be starting Powerless. You might get a review of Powerless in this video. We will see how quickly it takes to read it. If you see how good it is by how long it takes to read it, that's something about me, is like, I won't read for like 2 weeks, and then I'll read like 5 books in a week. But they've got to be good. Like if they're not, I'm gonna drag, and that's when I get into reading slumps, because I'm like, oh, don't like it that much, and then I need a really good book to pull me out of the slump. But hopefully Powerless will be, what is a hunted hunter destined for each other. I mean, it does sound good. It does sound right up my street. Romantasy, fantasy, not too heavy. At least that's what I've been told. I'm sticking by that, but we'll see. Okay, we're gonna give this a go. I don't know how good the sound quality is gonna be. I'm just on my phone walking through to school, but I thought I'd slightly more vloggy style because I haven't really got anything else to talk about. But I've started Powerless. I say that I've got like 1 page in. The first issue was I immediately didn't know how to pronounce the main character's name, and I still don't, so I need to Google that. I think I don't know. So that was the first hurdle, but we've done some more writing. I finished chapter 10, which was really good because there's a really nice moment at the end of chapter 10, which, like, I won't spoil it, but it was really cute to write and it made me all happy because I thought I wrote it well. We smashed through 12,000 words. I think I'm going to be able to do 13,000 by the end of January, which is going to be really good because my goal was 12,000 by the end of January. So that will be really good. Today I have psychology first thing, and then MT, and then rehearsals for Jesus Christ Superstar. It should be good. We're here longer today. Usually I have a half day on a Wednesday and I go home at like 1:35. Or actually usually I volunteer after 1:35. But today we're here till 4. So that should be fun. But it's going well. I'm happy with how I'm managing to keep on top of writing. Because that was a big goal for this year, was it's so easy to be like, oh, I should just do my coursework, but like I don't even do it, I just look at it on the train, or I'm just gonna scroll Instagram on the train. But if I can actually manage to get my laptop out and get some writing down, and I'm really living by the words of write it even if it's rubbish, like even if I think it's rubbish, even if I think it's garbage, even if I think I'm gonna rewrite it or I'm gonna delete it, even if I think I'm not gonna rewrite it, just write it. Because I think once I've got a first draft, which is obviously the aim of 2026, I've given myself the whole year to just get the first draft done. But once I've got a first draft, I can delete it, I can edit, that's fine. I enjoy that part of the process on smaller works that I've done. So I feel like that's encouraged me a lot. Last year there was a lot of like, oh, well, if it's rubbish, what's the point in writing it? Oh, I should rewrite this bit, I've got no idea, I don't know what to do. Just write something. Even if it's not how, like, I've just started chapter 11 on the train, and blank page syndrome is a real thing. And I'll just be looking at the blank page like, how do I even start this scene? I'm terrible at plotting, so I often don't have a plot for the scene. I know roughly what I want to happen, but very roughly. So the idea that just write something, first thing that comes to your head, to start writing it, and then it gets easier. But I'm going to end this video here because I hope to finish Powerless and then do like, or maybe get halfway through Powerless and do a bit of a review on that. But I'm not going to, I don't think. I'm not going to finish it in time, so that will be in the next video, which will be up. Loud cars. Rude. Which will be up, who knows when. I'd love to say next week, but I don't think I'm that consistent. Hopefully it'll be up in the next 2 weeks. So, bye bye.